Welcome back, film buffs. How are you today? This is Straight Shooter. I'm back for review 2 of 2 today. I'm here at Team Sound Studios once again, and my spoiler red band review today will be of The Outpost. So it's another war movie. I think this came out sometime last year, but I actually hadn't heard of it, but it would seem like the only thing at the drive-in that might be worth seeing that either I hadn't seen or it didn't look like it was a waste of time. It's about Afghanistan. It takes, the time period is about maybe 2004, 2006, but I know in like the 2000s area. It stars Orlando Bloom and Scott Eastwood, who I believe is Clint Eastwood's son, and it's about a military squad who is defending an area inside Afghanistan that the U.S. took camp in, and they're working with the locals to try to make peace. Meanwhile, there's Taliban all around trying to assassinate them and stuff. There's not really much to the plot of the movie. I mean, if you know about the war in Afghanistan, and if you know a little bit about what the military went through in there, then you pretty much know what the premise of the movie is. The idea behind the movie is to show through the perspective of the military inside. It was very much about like the brotherhood and the camaraderie between everyone busting their balls. You know, someone gets underwear sent by a tennis star to them and he's sniffing her panties, and, you know, and there'd be a lot of like back and forth between the enlistees and the commanders, and then all of a sudden, you know, people shooting at them and shit, and they're like, fuck, you know, and then that would last for a few minutes. And then after that, the aftermath, the next day or later that night, you know, they'll show more drama going on inside and more comedy, and then all of a sudden there'd be a little bit of action. And then the climax of the movie is like the Taliban just bands together and decides, let's take over this outpost. And they attack them with everyone they have. The military are trying to shoot them as much as they can. And then at the end, like there's an airstrike team and they take out the Taliban and they rescue the survivors in the outpost and take them out, and they blow the outpost. It's a basic movie. It's not overly complicated. It's just a basic war movie where you pretty much know what's going on. You have an idea what's going to happen before it happens. And I don't know. I mean, I think as war movies go, and I should tell you off the bat, I'm not a big war movie guy. Unless, like, it's got something special to it. Like, earlier this year, I saw 1917, and that was like a really good war movie. Okay, the problem that I have with this one is that it focused more on what was going on inside the outpost between the enlistees and the military personnel and stuff like that. Like, one commander would get assassinated, and then another commander would come in, and everyone would be like, well, I don't know if we can trust this commander. And then that commander gets relieved of duty. And then another commander comes in. And then they decide they're going to abandon the outpost. I think when you do that too much, I think you kind of limit your audience. Because I think this movie was made more for people that were in the military, have been deployed, and understand what you go through when you're in a situation where you're behind enemy lines. And that's great if that applies to you. If it doesn't, maybe you would somewhat find it entertaining. I mean, I thought some parts were okay. You know, some of the shootouts were really good, but all of the frat party bullshit going on between everyone inside, I mean, I think it went on for too long, and I wasn't really interested in it after a while. There's only so many times you can hear fuck, 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 and look at that pussy, and I mean, I'm sure it's great for, 20-something-year-olds. I'm just like, okay, I mean, just because that's going on, that doesn't make it, like, funny or, really intriguing. It's just bullshit it's just regular mundane bullshit that people go through. And I know that it's not mundane because they're in Afghanistan, but it's mundane because it would have been a better movie if they showed more of the struggle between them and the Taliban. There wasn't very much dedicated to that in the movie until like the end. The end sequence was like 10 to 15 minutes, and that was probably the best part of the movie, the whole shootout. Most of the movie, I was like, I was kind of tuning out. And it's not like I'm not a big supporter of the military and people that have deployed and veterans and stuff like that. I just can't relate to everything, all the shit that was going on inside, their encampment. If they're injured, that's really sad. If they get killed in action, that's really sad. But honestly, I don't really care about this one's being bullied because he's new when he's fucking up and he gets demoted to private. This one and that one decide, we have a little struggle, we should arm wrestle out to see who's the better guy. Or, this one needs to be initiated. Let's have him put this thing in his ass and have him walk about 50 miles without being shot. I mean, some of that stuff that I just said didn't happen in the movie, but it's kind of like, but that's kind of the mindset of the characters in the movie, if you get my meaning. It's like they tried to combine like a frat party movie with a war movie, like in an enemy encampment. And I just think unless you were in the military and you have experienced that, you probably wouldn't find most of it very interesting. Or you may. How I see it though is it wasn't one of the movies that I would say, wow, this is a really good war movie. But the score I would give it, maybe a C-. That's my second review today, but I got one more video for you. Stay tuned and you'll see what it's all about.